Welcome back to What You Need to Know for Audio Engineers. Here in this video we are talking about a very special pile of papers right here, our inputs and outputs reference sheet. On these couple of pieces of paper right here, we have labeled all of our audio routing. So we've got, on the very first page right here, we've got all of our stage routing. So here's a closer look at all of our stage routing inputs. Those come into the patch bay right here, and we've got a big chunk of cables right here that come in to individual channels. We know exactly which cable is plugged into which instrument through our reference sheet, and we can see if we follow these cables along stage, they go out to instruments. So that's all of our instruments on there, and we can see the channel that they come through. We can see what the name of that channel is. So up at the soundboard, this is what we actually see on the soundboard. We see this name right here. So we see kick, that's our kick drum. And we see OH, that's our overheads. We see guitar 2, that's a guitar 2. I think it should be important to everybody to be organized. If you believe that God created the universe, then you have to believe that He created it with order, with organization in mind. And this is just one way that we can be participating in that creation story, I think. And it's important for that reason, if no other. On this next sheet, we've got all of our Dante input channels, and we have very few of these utilized right now. We've got our vocal microphones and our pastor microphones. All of our wireless microphones are running through Dante. We've got our Ableton computer running through Dante, and that's taking a couple channels up here at the top. And we've also got a Mac at the front of house, which runs our ProPresenter, runs audio from Apple Music, and runs video and audio for special videos and presentations and things like that. Since Dante is entirely digital, it's digital audio through the network, all of the patching is also completely digital. So this is a digital patch bay. Just like you just saw with our physical stage box patch bay, those are physical cables that plug into physical sockets. Here we have to plug digital cables into digital sockets. So you can see that we've got little check marks. It's a grid pattern, so we've got little check marks where a connection has been made between the receivers on the x-axis and the transmitters on the y-axis. Here is our Surface soundboard inputs, and the only things we've got plugged in here is our front of house talkback microphone. All right, don't mind the mess, but here is the back of our soundboard Surface. As you can see, these are physical inputs, just like at the mix rack on stage for our stage inputs. The only difference is that this is at the front of house and our stage inputs are on stage. So in order to be organized, we have to organize these separately on paper as well. So that's why they're on a different page of the input-output reference sheet. But you can see there's just a couple things plugged in here. There's a couple inputs, a couple outputs as well, and over there on the right side, on the very right side, you can see a network cable. All right, so let's talk about what these numbers mean a little bit more. We've got our channels. You can see on the left column right there, it says kick is channel 1, snare top, channel 2, snare bottom, channel 3, etc. Those are our audio channels in the soundboard. So when we say channel, that's really what that means. It means it's a channel at the soundboard, it's a channel at the mix rack. Now across the top, you can see it says mix rack local inputs across the top of there. And those are also numbered. But those are not exactly audio channels. Those are representative of the patch bay points in the stage box. So when it says number 1 up across the top, mix rec local input number 1, that is socket number 1 on the patch bay on stage. So we can see that, at least for our stage inputs, and we can see this on the reference sheet as well, the local input on the stage with a cable plugged into it, channel number 1 matches channel number 1 in the mix rack. For our Dante inputs, we can see them here. We're still starting at channel 49, right there at the click and the guide, channel 50, track keys, channel 51, etc. These are channels. They're still channels in our mix rack, channel 49. But if you look across the top, it says mix rack I/O port 3 inputs Dante. These are our inputs from Dante. And those are still counting from left to right, from 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So we can see that patch point right there, where the little white square next to the click, that's channel 49 in our mix rack. But from Dante, Dante is sending that through channel 1 in Dante. So it's Dante channel 1, and it's channel 49 in our mix rack. Now this picture is a little bit more zoomed out, but you can still see the same thing. Across on the left column, we have all our channels down to channel 128 down there. And across the top, we can see surface local inputs. Those are the inputs on the back of the soundboard that we just showed a picture of just a second ago. Those are our inputs, and those inputs have numbers on them. Those sockets, those physical sockets, have numbers on them, and it looks like they're numbered 1 through 12. And those inputs, those sockets 1 through 12, are mapped to channels 113 down to 124. On this last page right here, we've got all of our outputs. So we've got auxiliary sends, we've got our matrices, we've got our surface outputs down here as well. All of it's on one page. We've got all of our IEMs on stereo auxiliary sends. That's these yellow ones here in the middle. We've got 10 of those. We've got our stream. We've got all of our outputs here, and we know what channel is routed to those outputs. It's for the sake of organization that we have this, and we have it available to us. We have a copy of this here at the rack. We have a copy of it at the soundboard. It's probably the most important part of audio engineering, as the technician side of it is knowing where everything is, being organized, and being able to troubleshoot issues when they come, and being able to laser focus in on, this is the issue, it's with this channel, so I go here and I fix the problem.